In June 1997, I continually hack into another hacker named Osir's computer and remove all his stuff and disconnect him all the time for releasing a script I wrote to the public that wasn't meant for distribution. In June of 97, I hacked two major radio stations, 92 KQRS and 93.7 The Edge, in Minnesota and changed the front pages to photos of Pamela Anderson. July 1997, the FBI comes pounding on my door for computer hacking and takes my #1 issue of Yahoo magazine with Robin from Batman and Robin on the cover. My internet alias is Neil, and people that don't like me called me Nell, Nell. In September of 1997, 2 months later, my little sister tells me her friends are being molested by their parents. In September of 1997, I tell my sister we should call the cops that same day that she tells me that. In September of 1997, her friend's parents come over, pounding at her door, claiming I'm selling meth to their kids and to stay out of their lives. A few days after that, people begin walking on their heels like robots at the Holiday gas station where I work, buying Yoo-hoo chocolate milk without saying anything. One is dressed in a white polo shirt, as were the parents of the molested children when they came to our door. September 1997, I began to see 611, 911, 511, etc. on clocks, LED and analog, with a seemingly subconscious ability to point at them with my eyes closed and still have it be something 11, kind of like this, although right now it's 3:26. Anyway, my friends begin to call me the 11 guy, and I take a photo of an LED clock with a 35mm camera, which I still have. In November of 1998, I get a phone call from an old friend who wants me to go work for his father in Arizona. So I pack my bags and fly there. One thing I could note is that I carried my desktop computer as a carry-on luggage, which I thought was strange. And when I landed in Phoenix, Arizona, I continually joked with my friend in the airport, and as we were leaving, that it could have been a bomb or something, because it was this big metal case with wires and stuff hanging out of it. Anyway, in January of 1999, my sister calls me and tells me that she was doing meth and cocaine back in Minnesota, which concerned me, and I told her to stop taking it. And around February or March of 1999, the movie The Matrix comes out, and the lead character is named Neo, and his real name is Mr. Anderson. And at this time, I'm working with a mathematician named Joe, who's teaching me permutations, kind of matrix form of mathematics. During this time, Yahoo was hacked and defaced by OSEC, which appears on CNN. This is that guy that I had been bullying, this other hacker I had been bullying in June of 1997. In June of 1999, I arrived back home in Minnetonka, and my sister immediately shows me a large headline photo of her drinking a chocolate milk on the front page of the Star Tribune. She is noticeably strung out, and her attitude has changed significantly. In June of 1999, my sister continually has 5 to 6 people over at a time doing cocaine until 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. They make noise at all hours of the night and day, typically through door slamming, feet stomping, shouting, and playing music really loudly. Her best friend, who I'm introduced to, is a Chinese immigrant named Britt. In July 1999, I'm still seeing 11s on clocks all the time without paying intentional attention to it. I was not documenting every time I saw it. In August 1999, due to lack of proper hygiene, all of my front teeth suddenly deteriorate rapidly. In September of 1999, while my sister and her drug-addled friends are present, I have an hour-long prank call with the Church of Satan in New York, and I get the priest to admit he's homosexual. This was the head priest. In October of 1999, I began to suffer from significant anxiety, especially social anxiety. It was very intense and didn't go away. Constant noise continued. In March of 2000, during another untraceable prank call using voice over IP to a Target department store in St. Louis Park, I get a call back on my private landline that I never used from a manager at the Target department store that we had never spoke to. I told my friend it seems very suspicious and ceased to prank call people altogether. In March of 2000, I got a phone call from my brother who has gone to work for a company called Freeze.com in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and they want to hire me and buy my website, Quality Clip Art. My brother runs clip art websites too, and together we are number 1 and number 2 in traffic ranking. In March of 2000, I moved to St. Cloud, mostly to get away from constant noise and abuse in the household. In July of 2000, I began developing traffic trading software for a universal topsite company my brother and I started called 100 Web, which is immediately purchased by Freeze.com. In September of 2000, I began developing traffic trading software for Freeze. Centralized in scope, it controls and operates hundreds of sites we refer to as satellites. My brother and I discussed further improvements as part of a larger system that acts like a real-time strategy game. We work with 3 brothers who run the company, the Webbers, as well as a Chinese programmer who doesn't speak English and a recent Harvard graduate that runs the marketing department. In September of 2000, I began to notice that every time we go to lunch, a new song by the rapper Nelly is on the radio called Country Grammar. Its lyrics are, "Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff, listen to it loud, light it up and take a puff, pass it to me now." You may remember the Yoo-Hoo chocolate milk. It's a chocolate milk bottle, and you unscrew the lid like so. In November of 2000, Freeze purchases large advertising spaces on Yahoo with the help of the head of marketing from Harvard. In December of 2000, due to the NASDAQ issues, we resigned from our jobs at Freeze. In June of 2001, I'm becoming more attentive to political issues and recalled a spy plane crashing in China. In June of 2001, I moved back to the household of Minnetonka, and the noise and abuse in intervals continues. In July of 2001, I am immediately introduced to a girl named Becky, who confides in me that she believes in Satan. Her eyebrows are noticeably raised. She stares very often and seems to complain of a constant anxiety, which for me personally is worsening. She is also a radical communist. In August of 2001, the noise and abuse continues. In 2002, the noise and abuse continues. In 2003, the noise and abuse continues. In June of 2003, I began to be cyber-stalked online. And in July of 2004, I began to be cyber-stalked on the new social networking service MySpace by Becky and her boyfriend, who are bullying people to death, including an attempt with myself. The harassment in the environment is intrusive and it's in intervals. From 2005 to 2017, the noise and abuse in intervals continues.